Hello and welcome to DPN TV here at the DPN Car Collection. I thought I'd do a little video on the ventilation and cabin air system. It may seem a sort of simple set of settings, but it's often worth going through them because it's surprising how often it's easy to have them set wrong. And also I thought, we've been using Rover 45s for a long time, putting out experience and how we use the vents and air system as well. So at the moment we've got it set to fan 1 and full on face. So if we go through what we've got on the air system, you've got all your different vent positions. You've got just the air coming on the face, the feet and the face, just the feet and the demist, and purely the demist. Now on any of those settings, or I think most of them, if the air isn't shut off from these vents, it will still come through those vents, just at less power depending on where it's being directed. So if you want the full direction of air, you need to shut those vents. Of course, this is your cold and hot, and that is a cable operating a little tap on a bypass hose, where when the tap is turned off, so that's onto the cold, the water flows through a little bypass hose and back into the engine, and when you turn the tap on, the water then flows through the little heater matrix under the dash here, and the air gets blown through it to give you warm or hot air depending on your adjustment. That does actually work pretty well. When you have it at about halfway, the air is sort of warm, and right around here it's pretty hot, and actually we find it's normally too hot air to actually have it all the way round most of the time. The only time you normally have it that far round is for sort of demisting on a damp morning. And of course you've got your fan settings from 1 all the way to 4, and of course it slows the motor down with a little resistor, which is actually under the behind the glove box by the fan motor. And if you watch our video on changing the cabin filter or changing the resistor, that gets pointed out to you as well. And then of course you've got the recirculation button and the air conditioning. It's not a computerized air system, so the air conditioning, if you switch it on, is just on all the time, and the only thing that gives you more or less cold air really is turning the fan up and down. And of course you've got the recirculate button, which recirculates the cabin air instead of it taking the air from outside. The reasons for using that, what we use it for, is say like you drive along the road and see someone's got a bonfire with smoke going around or across the road, we quickly switch it on to recirculate and drive through that smoke, and it doesn't come into the cabin, you don't get the smell. So as if somebody sort of revs away with a diesel engine, or a car's got some sort of a problem and all smoke comes out the back, if you quickly hit that, you're not going to get that smell inside the car. You also use it for air conditioning if you want to get the car cool quick, and you can use it for heating the car up quickly, but you'd have to watch because the car's likely to steam up if you're using that setting. So yeah, at the moment we've got it set to a summer setting. Normally we'd have it probably on fan 3, and you can hear the fans pick up there for the summer setting. The other most popular settings we use is as you come into the winter, we normally turn it around to there, and the cable redirects there to come through the demist and onto your sort of feet. It normally really gives you a mixture of air through everything, and works pretty well. For the demist setting, we normally only use that when the windows are really steamed up, and obviously we would turn this all the way around to the warm setting so that warm air comes through. And if you really need the demist to work well, what you really need to do is shut this vent off and this vent off to really make sure that the air gets blown through the demist vents, which of course are right by the window screen there. While you've got the heating on in that heating setting, normally once the car's demist, what we do is turn it back to that setting to then drive a nice mixture of warm air through all the vents, and of course we would reopen those vents. Now the middle vents, there is no way really of turning them off, so they tend to gently blow whatever setting you've got on. But what you can do is have it cold air coming through, so even if you have the hot air setting, if you have this switch in the up position with the blue arrow, actually cool air will come through, and if you move it down to that, these then get the same warm air as those two vents there. We always have it on there because I actually like a nice bit of cool air being mixed in with the warm air. As I say, we tend to like it a little bit cooler in the car, and I think that just makes sure that fresh air is always coming in. I'm not quite sure, but I think even on recirculate, possibly some fresh air will still come in through those, but it must be very minimal because I say if you drive through a lot of smoke, you don't smell it for quite a while, so most of it is being recirculated, but I think a small amount of cool air may come through. You've got your top vent here for really bringing in cool air with the air conditioning, and of course you can turn that off or on with that. Well, then we really like that because cars seem to have done away with that vent. I think even on the very last 45s that got done away with, whereas I really like that vent for bringing in air. Now, while you've got it on the demist setting, what you can also do while the heating is on, if it's a very damp morning, is if you turn this to sort of halfway, just a little bit past, and switch the air conditioning on, and you'll hear the engine pick up there as it settles itself down and the air conditioning starts to run. What you're now getting, and this car can do this, and it advises that you can do it in the manual as well, is have the air conditioning running in the winter so that you get warm air because you've got it on halfway, but that will remove all the dampness from the air. You shouldn't have the recirculate on because it will possibly still mist up, although technically the air conditioner should be removing dampness from the air, so you could use the recirculate for a short time, but as I say, you could find that you still get steaming up problems. The main idea is that this will dry the air from the outside, and then the heater will warm it up so you feel warm, and it will demist. And it's also a good thing for your air conditioning to work in the winter, so on damp mornings where the car's really steamed up, if your air conditioning is working, it's well worth putting it on in this configuration for demist halfway and air conditioning on. That will give you nice warm dry air, and you'll find the car will demist better, and it keeps the air conditioning running. So once you're driving along and the car's demisted, I'd normally put it onto that setting and drive along. And what you may find is, and this is the thing I find that the book doesn't tell you, is if you're driving along and all the car's demisted, if you then turn that air conditioning switch off, you'll tend to then get dampness come up on the screen, because the core that's got cold will obviously still be damp, and where that was removing that dampness, now the air conditioning's off, the air flowing through it will try and drop off and actually put moisture back into the car. So once you set the AC for a journey, really you need to leave it on to the end of that journey, as you could find that you turn it off and get damp come up or moisture come back up on your windscreen. But if your air conditioner is working right, we find it very effective and well worth doing. I suppose the only problem is if you really were doing a long journey, sort of like an hour plus, you'd technically have the air conditioning running all that time to avoid dampness coming back up on your screen. So it's worth sort of thinking about, but I'd say it's well worth the payoff of doing, because it gets the air conditioning working, it gets the car moisture free quicker, but also it feels better, because on a cold damp morning, if the air gets dried and heated, it's a far better feeling. Of course, our next popular setting is air conditioning in the summer, so we normally have it set to full face on, and obviously the heating off, and that will give you full air conditioning. And if the car is really hot when you get in it, it's well worth putting the recirculate on. And basically what that does is, under here in the air system, there's a flap with electric solenoid, and that flap gets pulled up and blocks the air intake from outside, so the air gets sucked in from under the glove box, and basically recirculates your air. So they're the settings we mainly use the heating on. Of course, you've got your heated rear demist window heater as well. So yeah, hopefully that sort of covered some of the settings we use: the air conditioning, what we do in the winter to demist the screen, general sort of heating, and how the system works. We find actually it really works very, very nicely, this heating system, and it's nice to steadily control it. Once you get your settings set up, it works pretty well. Obviously the fan speeds, with anything like when it's really warm, you'll have it on the full speed to get the air conditioning through, and slowly turn it down. And the same with the demist, you'll alter that depending on how quick you need it demist or heated in the car. Normally once the car's cool or hot, we tend to slip back to setting 2 or 3 in most cases, and actually 2 is the most sort of quietness feeling. We always have the air on, even if it's only on 1. I know a lot of people turn it off when they're sort of not wanting heat or cold, and technically if you have it turned off and have it on the heat setting, just as you're driving along, the airflow being blown in will gently come in and warm the car. But I actually like the air to come in, because if you sit in traffic, then that air is going to stop flowing in, and I think the car sort of gets very sort of stale air in it, especially if all your windows are closed, and the air conditioning will not run. So even if you've got that button pushed in, if you have the fan turned off, then the air conditioning will go off. So the fan has to at least be on fan setting 1 for the air conditioning to work. So yeah, hopefully that's been of use to you if you've just got a Rover 45, or maybe you've had one and not really thought about the settings and just get in and drive it, or maybe it's of interest to you seeing how we do our settings, and give that a try to see if that works better for you. As always, don't forget to check out our other videos, look at our Instagram or Twitter page, and as always, thank you very much for watching. If you have liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to find future videos that we do.